designer series papers, which is available in my Stampin' Up shop, and I'm going to be using real red and a piece of basic white. I've got my measurements just to remind me over here in my planner. If you've not got my planner pages and you want them, they are available as a PDF download in my shop here on my website. So if you go to applelover53.co.uk, click on the shop tab and then scroll down to PDFs, you'll find them. So I'm going to be using UK A4 cardstock, which is 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. But if you're using US 8.5 by 11, you can do this as well. I'll just give you the alternative measurements in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in my paper trimmer, and on the 8 1/4 side I'm going to cut it at 5 3/8. So just cut a chunk off like so. Now if you're using US cardstock and you've got 8.5, you cut yours at 5 1/4. Okay, so you'll have 5 1/4 by 11. I've got 5 3/8 by 11 3/4. And I'm going to need my paper trimmer again in a minute, but for now I'm just going to do the folding. So I'm going to move the paper out of the way. Put that on one side because that's scraps. And now I'm going to fold this in half. You can use your, simply scored if you want to. So I'm going to fold that in half. So this is how my card's going to open. And then I'm going to fold this back like so. Then I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer again. And off the short side, I'm going to cut 1 1/4 off. Okay. You'll do exactly the same with your 8.5 by 11. So this is what we've got now, 2 pieces. Okay. So that one's just going to go on one side for a minute. This is the one that I'm going to use first. So I'm going to bring in a piece of white cardstock and I'm going to cut this at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. So that should give me a piece for inside. Then I'm going to put a piece of the designer series paper here, I think, as well. But I need 2 pieces of designer series paper for this. So you measure yours and you cut yours whatever size. I'm going to make mine 1/4 inch smaller than this. So this measures 2 7/8. So I'm going to cut it at 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. So 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. I'm going to do the 2 5/8 first, and then do 3 7/8. Hopefully this is going to be right. And then I'm going to do that again. So 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. So that gives me a piece for there and a piece for there. And then I don't know whether to put a strip here as well. I might put a strip here because the decoration I'm going to be using is I've got a circle that's about 2 1/4 and then a piece of real red that's the next size up. So these are from the layering circle dies. So I've taken one of the circles and the next scallop circle up. Everything will be listed underneath the video on YouTube if you're watching it there, and if you're on my blog, it will be in the accompanying blog post. So my thinking is that that's going to go on there like so, and then I've cut a couple of the candy canes from the paper So I might put a strip of the paper here as well. So let's just see. So I'm going to cut a piece that's 1 inch by 3 7/8. That should be the right size for there. Then I've got this strip that's going to go across the front that also needs paper on. And this is 1 1/4. So let's see what we've got. So I'm going to cut this at 1 by 5 3/4. So 5 3/4 by 1. Let me just see if this is right. I've not made this. I might use the opposite side. So that's too long. So let me measure that. No, it should be 5 1/2, not 5 3/4. So that's going to go on there. And then I need these 2 pieces as well. So I'm going to cut those. And I've forgotten what they need to be, so I'll have to do it again. So 2 3/4, I think this needs to be. By 1 inch. And I need 2 of those, so let's just see. Yeah, so 2 3/4 by 1 inch. So I think I've got all my layers. So I'm going to start with the easy bit and stick the white piece of card inside. So that's going to go like so. This was my piece to go on the end, which I think I'll just put about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge rather than, or I could put it right up against the edge. Might do it right up against the edge actually. I don't often do that. I usually, you know, bring them in, but let's see, we'll do this. So I'll go up to the edge of the white paper so it's running flush, like so. Then these 2 pieces, I want the stripes. So they're going to go central. Like so. So this is what we've got so far. And then this piece is going to go across the bottom like this. So I'm going to put the layers on first and I'm going to have the polka dots. So we'll centralise that to the piece of the real red. Okay, so this is going to go across the front of the card like so. So I need to put glue just on the back of this, but it's probably easiest to put it across the front of the card. Like so. So I'm going to put that up to the edge and press it down, and then do the same with this, but this time I'm going to turn this one over and put it on the back of the red piece, so that now when I fold this over, this should line up with the edge of my card, and that's the double Z fold. Now if you've got any that's overhanging, I've got a slight little overhang here. Just take your scissors and use the edge of your card as a guide and just trim it off. Literally got a slither to trim off. So that's how that's looking now. So this is going to go on here and it's going to stick just on this half of the card. So I'm going to stick this down flat first. So I'm going to put some wet glue on the back of my white circle. That's going to stick on there. So I only want glue on half of it. These two candy canes which I've made, I think are just going to go across the front like so. But I've got some of the gnomes from the Storybook Gnomes set already pre-cut. And I was thinking that I might put one of the gnomes on top. So I've got bits and pieces that I've cut with my ScanNCut from the Storybook Gnomes paper. Just put the lid back on that glue for a minute. So I might do a bit of colouring on this. So let's see. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to colour a little nose and face in Petal Pink. And I don't know how good the colouring's going to be because I'm trying to not get my head under the camera. I think we'll give her a real red hat. Because that's the card I've used. And real red is in this Sweetest Christmas paper. And like I say, it might not be the best colouring because I've got a camera right above my head, which I'm trying to avoid. So we've got real red for a hat. Pool Party is also in this paper. So I think I'll give her Pool Party clothing, a little collar there, on a dress or whatever this is that she's wearing, and round on the sleeves. I'll give her, let's see what this is. This is a grey granite light, so I'm just going to colour a little mittens or whatever they are. I think I've missed a bit of a dress there as well, so I'll just go back over that in a minute, just trying to avoid her pigtails. So while I'm colouring, what have we got? Still got Pool Party. I just want to, you know, check in and see how you all are, let you know how we're all getting on. Little Eddie, our lovely little show cocker. I think I'm going to do her hair in, what's this? Light So Saffron. Yeah, so our little Eddie he was a year old in August. And some of you that may have followed me for a while may know that he was going to daycare. But I stopped him going for a few months, and on the day that I'm filming this, which you're not actually going to see this probably for about a month, but he's just gone back to a new daycare today. I'm trying a different one out, literally just over the hill from where I live, and if it works out, he's going to start going there on a Friday, so I'm going to have all day Friday to be able to get in my office without, you know, worrying about him being on his own or what, you know, leaving him on his own. I mean, I do leave him on his own for a couple of hours twice a week to get him used to being on his own, but My craft office is in a different building to my home. And when I come in here, I do worry him about, I worry about him being on his own. So at least if he goes to daycare 1 day a week, it will give me a full day to be able to catch up with stuff and get some sewing projects done and get some more, cards made and some more ScanNCut projects made. So that's what's happening with me at the moment. So I'm just going to bring that out of the way, and I think I'm going to layer this up before I put it on the card. So that's going to go like that, and I think I'm going to pop, looks like he's got horns, doesn't it? Or she. I'm going to, let's see, pop that down and then pop this up, I think, with dimensionals. So thank you to everybody that keeps buying the ScanNCut cutting files from my online shop. It really does help because, this is my business. This is my livelihood. I have just got a job that takes me out of the house just a couple of hours twice a week. And that's how come, I'm leaving Eddie. But apart from, those few hours, this is my main job. I'm not so sure I like that. It looks like she's got horns, doesn't it? But we've done it now, so I'm going to stick it down. So this is now going to go on this side of the card. And again, I'm just going to pop it up. So I'm going to put a dimensional there and a dimensional there. Anyway, like I say, thanks to everybody that are buying the ScanNCut cutting files. It really does help. And thank you to everybody that's leaving me reviews. I've got 5-star reviews on all the cut files that have got reviews on them, if that makes sense. I've not been having reviews on the cutting files. It was something that I forgot to kind of ask for. So I've just put a review system on my website. So I chose a few people who had bought cutting files and asked them would they review them, and everybody's given me 5-star reviews, which is lovely. But it's set up now so that anybody that buys a ScanNCut cutting file from me will automatically be asked to provide a review. So if you do buy cutting files from me, would you just please take 5 minutes just to reply when you get the notification request asking you to review, because it really does help other people to make their mind up about whether to shop with me. So and again, thank you to anybody that shops in my Stampin' Up shop. That's really nice as well, so thank you very much for that. So that's the card. So the double Z fold, really easy to make. Now I know it's a bit awkward to write your message in there, so what I would do, but I'm just not going to do it today because I want to, I've got other things I need to get onto. I would cut another piece of white card for here, the same size as this one, and cut it at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and then you've got plenty of room there to write, your greeting or, your hello or whatever it is you want to write. And the finished card size for this is a UK A6 card, but like I say, if you start off with US card and you cut on your 8.5 side, if you cut yours down to you cut yours down to 5.5 by the length, fold it in half and then fold it back, you'll end up with the same thing, but yours will be 5.5 finished size, where mine's 5 7/8, and mine is 4 1/8 high. Yours will be 4 1/4. You'll understand what I mean, hopefully. Basically, what you want to do, you want to finish up with the width of your regular card plus 1.5 inches for this. Okay, so that's today's project, using a combination of Sweetest Christmas papers and Storybook Gnomes products and some red rhinestones and some real red cardstock. So please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.